step back and watch the chef cook.
You want 17 birds? Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. In my line, if you want 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. I know a guy if you want 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. I know a guy if you want 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. Yeah, I'm from the 17th curb. I'm a G, I know how a G17 works. I'm a beast, I done moved grass all on this turf. Before the pandemic, face mask gonna work, yeah. Feast with the guys, glad bag full of work. Used to help Miss Diane with her bags out of church, cause she let us play them steps from the first to the first. It's like we shared clothes, your dirt was my dirt. You don't need to have a foreign, I saw minivan skirts. We had bitches on the bus, I ain't never chased no skirt. Diamond chains cause I'm up, she just think I'm trying to flirt. When the lights hit my chain, all my diamonds do the jerk, yeah. Deep in the rap, don't miss your blessings in the verse. Make him buy a storefront, you're more precious than the purse. If you gotta have that purse, make his ass go berserk. We world champs now, this just come with the perks. Woo! You want 17 birds? Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. In my line, if you want 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back. Goat Talk. LB, Philly Mike. Listen, man, we've been slacking on our job, but we back. We got some, we got something special we're going to do for y'all today, man. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about OTAs a lot. We're going to talk to you guys a lot. And we're going to talk about, our personal rankings of the top 32 quarterbacks in the National Football League. Most of the ones that start, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, we did all starting quarterbacks, right?
Yeah. That's where the Baker Mayfield, we're going to leave him off because we don't know where if he's going to get moved to be a starter. But right now he's sitting behind Deshaun Watson.
Facts, yeah. And it's going to be a 3-part series. We don't want to give you all 32 at one time. You know what I mean? We got time. Obviously, it's off season. So we're going to give you our bottom 10 today. And we're going to chop it up with OTAs, man. Mike, how's your Memorial Day weekend going, bro?
Hey, it's great. And I'm just gonna give you the salute real quick because we know what you've been doing for this whole world.
Facts.
So shout out to you.
I appreciate you. No, I appreciate you too, bro. I do it so we could do stuff like this. You know what I mean? I did that stuff so we could be able to talk free, about our opinions on sports and stuff like that. But, with OTAs on the brink, actually in less than 24 hours, we got some pretty crazy positional battles. We got some guys that could potentially be on the bubble. We have some positions that, aren't solidified. When we have, almost 90% of the roster solidified, we have a lot of guys who can make a name for themselves if they could get into the starting mix, with this roster, with how talented this roster is. So let's talk about some of the position battles that we think that are, most important for this, upcoming OTAs and training camp and all summer.
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind is the linebacking position, just because we've seen how bad it got last year and how it slowly got better throughout the season. TJ Edwards being the main reason why. But now we got an abundance of names in there. We got pass rushing linebackers, cover linebackers, guys who can go side to side, who can hit gaps, you can use in stunts and all this stuff. So I think that's really going to be the position I'm looking at first, because I'm not counting out the TJ Edwards and the Davion Taylors. One got to stay healthy and one got to continue showing he's consistent. But we got some good names up in here now. So I think that's going to be that's an open door. Guys like Nakobe Dean, who's a rookie, the guys, they know what he was about in Georgia. So Davion Taylor and these guys got to look and say, dang, Nakobe Dean, no matter what we say, and being a 3rd-round pick, he not looking to sit behind anybody.
It's interesting, though, because you talk about linebacker and you look at the year TJ Edwards had, he pretty much popped up on the scene and earned himself an extension, you know what I mean? So you got to be trending in the right direction to do that. But then you look at the draft picks, you look at the trades. Hassan Reddick and Kaiser White and, the drafting and the Kobe Dean can absolutely have a guy like TJ Edwards who's just finding his legs on the bubble. Because, just talent-wise alone, I think it's safe to say Kaiser White is more talented. We know Hassan Reddick is more talented. And the Kobe Dean has the most upside of basically any linebacker that came out of this year's draft. So what's interesting to me is to see if TJ Edwards is going to take his game up to a next level when you're talking about the linebacker corps and fight for his job. If he don't, then you're going to have some pretty damn solid linebackers on special teams, which does nothing but help the team either way. So, I'm excited about that battle as well. The one for me, though, man, it got to be strong safety, man. They got to be strong safety because I expect big things from Kayvon Wallace still. Listen, if you wear a midnight green, I expect big things from you. Listen, shit, I still expect big things from Rager. You know what I mean? He wearing the green still.
I
So
hear you.
hopefully, you know what I mean? Hopefully, I'm hoping he could turn it around. That just makes, good for us. But, Mike Epps, man, makes plays, man.
Marcus Epps, man.
I'm
You
sorry,
can't.
man.
I
Why I
know
keep calling this dude Mike Epps?
because Mike Epps is that guy in the acting industry. You know
Right,
what I
right,
mean?
right. Marcus Epps, man, he make plays, man. He makes plays on the special teams, and he makes plays just from the safety position as well. And I think it's his job to lose. That should put a battery in Kayvon Wallace's back and have him going out there, trying to put his best foot forward because this is about competition, man. Howie Roseman always talks about bringing competition into the fold, and he did that in special teams and free agency, man.
I agree. Marcus Epps, we gave him more reign at the end of the season, whether it's because we knew we were going to be done with Ronnie McLeod. I'm not sure. But in three safety looks, Marcus Epps came in. When a guy needed a breather, Marcus Epps came in. Now Kevon Wallace was hurt, right? He got the nod to start the season. When the season started, they knew that Kevon Wallace was ahead of Marcus Epps on the depth chart. But as you say about Jalen Hurts' possibility, right? If you get hurt, somebody can take your spot. And that's just credit to the depth of this team. And now the guys playing alongside. So I think Kevon Wallace got the nod from Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon, but Marcus Epps proved he can stay healthy and he can make some plays. And I like his game. He's not afraid to put he'll knock somebody out for sure.
Yeah.
But he's really slept on. Again, everybody's a scrub until they get a chance to prove they're not a scrub, right? I don't mean that everybody's a scrub, but we've seen guys be discredited and then finally get their time to shine, and then they show something. You are not what you came into this league, right? You just because you're a 6th round, a 4th round draft pick, don't mean you're never going to be somebody. You just got to wait for your time. And I think Marcus Epps has the red carpet right in front of him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could do some good things if given the opportunity. In terms of Kayvon Wallace, so I just never seen that play that said, he could be the guy of the future. I've never seen Kayvon Wallace make that standout play. I'm still waiting for it. But when you think of Marcus Epps, he has interceptions. Kayvon Wallace doesn't have any, to my knowledge. Marcus Epps is around the ball hitting. Marcus Epps is laying people down, laying the wood, pause. He's doing what you want to do from a safety position, man. And then he's a gunner on special teams. He's making plays there too. So, if a guy's making plays, then the guy's earning playing time. And if you're earning playing time, then you got to be around the starters. I mean, Marcus Epps has an opportunity to earn himself some money this year. If you put him around Bradbury and Slay in this front seven, the play is got to fall to somebody, and why not it be a safety back there? So I got really high hopes for Marcus Epps, and I got really high hopes for Kayvon Wallace as that rotational guy as well. Now, another position, though, is wide receiver, man, because, now we know number 1 and number 2 is solidified. We know there's no competition there. Do you think Quez Watkins is a lock for the third guy, or do you think Zach Pascal got something to say about that? Or do you think Jalen Reagor can still make a case? I think it's competition for that third guy still.
Yeah, I think if you're just grading off what we saw from last year, and if we're doing it ourselves, I think I'm going to put Quez Watkins in as a third piece. But
Facts.
Nick Sirianni brought Pascal over here for a reason. He believes in him. And when you look at the last year of Pascal under Nick Sirianni, it was close to what Quez Watkins did. Not as explosive, right? I think maybe, I don't quote me, but they did both have around 600 and something yards. I don't know who had more catches. I would guess that per catch it was Quez Watkins because of the fact that he's an explosive guy. He caught a couple 60-yard bombs and whatnot. Jalen Reagor, as long as he's on the Eagles, that first round grade is going to be in Howie's head. The only thing that gives me confidence that we'll bounce him back now is that we're making moves for wide receivers, bringing in 2 this offseason. And what Howie Roseman said in the offseason when he pretty much called him out and said, oops, I made a mistake. That's kind of a bad sign right there. But I do think Pascal has as much opportunity through Nick Sirianni's eyes to win that job. But Quez is a dog. The one thing he said as soon as he got to the podium, and the first question by a beat writer to Quez was, how does this change? What changes now that AJ Brown's here? He said nothing. I still gonna do me, and so that's confidence from a 6th round pick who's starting to put it together year by year.
No, yeah, I totally agree. And it was an interesting tweet that came out from Quez Watkins too. He said, "I didn't do this to make friends." Like he's coming for his, you know what I mean? And you got to respect that type of attitude from a wide receiver. It's some swag in the wide receiver room now, man. You know, we haven't had that in a very long time. You heard AJ Brown say, "I feel like I'm one of the top guys." You hear Smitty say, I think when he was a rookie, say, you know, I feel like I could be one of the best guys. And then you got Quez Watkins saying nothing changes when you bring in a bona fide wide. You could put 2 number ones around me. Nothing changes for me. That's the confidence that these guys have in each other, and still sharp and still, man. So bringing AJ Brown into the fold just makes, you know, perfect sense in terms of creating that competition. But I'm not going to all the way give up on Jalen Reagor. I know he's made some bonehead plays. I know he hasn't made plays. I don't know what his issue is, but if it's going to be ever a time for you to, you know, step up and do what you think you need to do to, you know, get in the good graces back with the fan base and the organization, whatever have you, it got to be now. You know what I mean? If Zach Pascal comes out here and outperforms you, then come on, man. What does that say about you when you drive, man? Shout out to my guy. Don't get married for the 1999 super chat.
And we both already made it. I'm not gonna say to Messina. Let me stay.
Right, I didn't even want to read that. My guy with the 1999 said, "LB Mike, how about you guys drop your podcast on Amazon so Alexa can play it too? Keep up the great work." I mean, I think it's easy to do that, man. I mean, we'll talk about putting it on other platforms so you guys can enjoy it and rewatch it. Shout out to you though for the super chat. But you know, listen, Mike, another position too though. Right guard, man. What do you think about right guard with Isaac Seumalo and Jack Driscoll? You know what I mean? That could also be some potential you know, competition. Well, it is competition there because I think I've seen some good plays out of Driscoll. I also seen some good plays out of Seumalo. I think that one's pretty wide open. I think it might be the most wide open.
Yeah, and what if even though Cam Jurgens was brought in to be the replacement of Kelsey, what if because Kelsey loves him and he shows so much that the Eagles say, man, he's a talented kid. We can't have him just sitting on the bench. Kelsey's still here for this year. He's going to learn under Kelsey how to be a center, and he knows how to be a center. But let's throw him at right guard. I'm not saying they will because I'm looking at Isaac Seumalo to solidify that spot. I think a lot of people are down on Isaac Seumalo. To me, he's always got the rap to being the worst guy on the line, but that's not necessarily a bad thing when you have Hall of Famers all around you. You're going to be the worst, but what grade of being worse are you? So I think Seumalo got it. Driscoll has shown talent. You know, I think that once Lane Johnson finally hangs it up, who, by the way, who gave up 0 sacks this year, people sleeping on him. That was a guy I think that got snubbed out of a Pro Bowl. I really do. There's a couple guys that I thought, you know, Maddox as a slot corner, Lane as a right tackle, but it's neither here or there. That right guard position, we got depth, and that's why, you know, Driscoll, Jurgens, Seumalo, Herbig. I'm not mad at any of them, really.
Yeah, you know, I think you could almost throw anybody right there, man. Look who you in between. You're in between Kelsey and you're in between Lane Johnson. I mean, anybody is going to look bad out of that trio, and anybody is going to, you know, I mean, I don't think he underperformed from the position. I just think that, listen, Brandon Brooks proved, you know, that the position is plug and play, even though Brandon Brooks was a phenomenal right guard. I mean, I think you could get away with, you know, probably drafting another right guard next year if you really wanted another right guard. But right now, I think it's solidified. Now, as far as bringing Cam Jurgens there, yeah, this is how I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to use Cam Jurgens. I think Kelsey's going to start every game. Obviously, this is his last season, most likely. He's going to start every game. And I think that, you know, with this roster that you built, I think we could take a strong enough lead in a couple of these games to get Jurgens some meaningful snaps and give Kelsey a breather for like a potential playoff rush, a playoff push. So that's how I would use him if it was up to me. Coaches, man, we've been talking about coaches a lot, man, all off season. It's probably not going to stop. Are your concerns the same there with the coaches?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I just got to see more, right? You know, there's such thing as lightning in a bottle, right? For coaches, for players. That's why on a 1-year sample size, when you see someone do something great, I got to see it a little bit longer before we crown Micah Parsons the best pass rusher ever. You know, I got to see it more for any team, including my own. And so Nick Sirianni is on my good side of got to see it more, but Jonathan Gannon is on my prove it I don't want to see more of that. I want to see you be versatile, right? You like to say versatile a lot. You went out
Mm-hmm.
and got versatile players, so there's no reason to be predictive or predictable. What am I talking about? I need to see that versatility in the fronts, and just by having versatile players, throw some more. You don't got to be blitz heavy. You don't got to be Jim Johnson Jr., but you got to be creative and at least do it when it counts.
I don't like the scheme, man. I don't like the scheme. The scheme, this, listen, you got the players that fit the scheme. I mean, if you put them players in that same scheme, you almost can assure yourself some of the same result for real, for real. You know what I mean? The scheme just wasn't good. There's no way you could get me to believe that you decided to play 7 yards off of an opposing team's quarterback for any reason. Like, what would be the reason for something like that? That's idiotic. So, if you put these same great players, great Pro Bowlers in this situation, I think it's going to be an uprising, man, in the middle of the season if it's not looking right, because the talent is there, man. A lot of people like to say Jalen Hurts don't have no excuses. Jalen Hurts ain't make no excuses. Who made excuses for Jalen Hurts? I didn't hear him making any excuses for himself. I heard every week at the podium Jalen Hurts say, well, we got to get better. We got to keep working. 1% better every day. He's been saying stuff like that. Now, what the media did around Philadelphia was we made excuses for Gannon. He didn't even have to make excuses. We made the excuses for him. He don't got the personnel for his scheme. I think we let him off the hook a little too early, and he's going to be under a heavy microscope for me. I might turn into a defensive guru this season because I'm going to be looking at this defense. Like, I have my hopes are higher for the defense than it is for the offense. I think the defense should vastly outperform the offense. You know what I mean? And that's saying a lot, man. I think that this defense is going to be the key to seeing how far you could go in the playoffs. But, it sounds like your concerns are still the same for the coaches. Mine as well. So, without further ado, man, let's compare both of our bottom tens, in terms of QB rankings. And let's see what the people think, and let's see what you and I think of our lists. So on the left side, you got me. On the right side, you got Mike. Obviously, respectfully. You know what I mean? And listen, y'all know I ain't good with the graphics. Mike had to put this graphic together for me. My joint was looking crazy. Shout out my God, Mike. But so Mike, at 32, we both got Kenny Pickett. For obvious reasons. What's your reason for having Kenny Pickett there?
I mean, he hasn't played yet, right? Just again, we grade some rookies that come into the NFL higher, but again, we're talking about the last time the first quarterback off the board was taken past 20 was in the 90s almost, or it was so many years ago. So that's just going to say that it's not just me, it's a lot of people saying that this draft class ain't that good, and this is more because of what your scouting grade was coming out of college, plus you're new. I'm just gonna fall back on you until you show me something.
Yeah, facts. Same thing with Kenny Pickett, man. I mean, listen, you ain't played no games yet. You know what I mean? I got to see if you can grasp what's going on at the next level. A lot of lists you see, they have these guys coming out of college and they put these guys ahead of guys that got playing time. I think that's just unfair. It's kind of like when you judging, head coaches. We don't know what Brian DeBall is going to be in New York. So to have him over anybody that got more snaps as a head coach is laughable to me. So we both got Drew Luck at 31. I'll go first on this one. It's for obvious reasons, man. He's been struggling for a number of years. Sometimes you see flashes, sometimes you don't. He has some experience. He's played more than Kenny Pickett, but right now it's safe to say he's just not a really good quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Seattle even wanted him. It's like, I understand you giving up Russell Wilson. You have to have somebody to start. But really, Drew Lock, I'm just like, keep it and give me another draft pick at that point. I'll just grab somebody off the streets and play quarterback. Now, at one time, I thought Drew Lock had a little bit of potential. Being 31st is 31st. He's still a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
People think that being the last of the list, yeah, it's the last of the list, but there's only 32 of them, right? We're not talking about, 500 guys out there. People can't even make the NFL. So Drew Lock just got to, put some stuff together, but I'm not holding my breath.
Right. So this is the first difference in the list, the first of many probably. So I got Davis Mills at 30. Now, I'll admit this might be a little too low for Davis Mills. I'll admit this. I think this is a little too low after relooking it. I think Davis Mills is on the upswing. You know what I mean? Davis Mills showed me more than Justin Fields and Zach Wilson last year. So, if I had to rearrange this right now, which I'll probably do when we do the final cut, I think Davis Mills should be higher. But as of right now, I got Davis Mills 30, and you got Daniel Jones 30.
Yeah, it was hard to find any quarterbacks that I think are worse than Daniel Jones. Sorry, Drew Lock, and sorry, Kenny Pickett.
Facts.
I should have put you in front of Daniel Jones, but look, Daniel Jones once in a while does something like, oh wow, whether it's with his legs or one throw, but it's nothing that I'm never. He can't even get. We're talking about 16 touchdowns from Jalen Hurts. This guy, is just laughable when you look at his stats and just the boneheaded plays, fumbles, interceptions at time. He got that Eli Manning, he's the worst part of Eli Manning, right? And we know Eli Manning, he might be a Hall of Famer because of the 2 Super Bowls, but there were some bad Eli Manning. And I think that is just what Daniel Jones is, the bad version of Eli Manning. I think that they're ready to give up on him.
That version, right?
I think they're ready to give up on him. He got this year this is last year.
I agree. Professor Chaos, thank you for the super. Jay said, LB, the Davis Mills slander is crazy. Listen. I'm admitting right now, man, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. So I'll reassess, and when we do part 2, I'll tell you where I put him, and I'll tell you about the changes. I'll go through that quick before we go through our final. I think that's a mistake. But at 29 right now, for me, I got Daniel Jones. Mike got Sam Darnold. I mean, do I got to say any more than what Mike just said about Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones is buns. Daniel Jones is probably the worst quarterback in the league. I think Kenny Pickett is already better than him. But out of fairness to my morals, Kenny Pickett hasn't played, and Daniel Jones. Listen, Daniel Jones hasn't threw for 3,000 yards in a season in 2 years. Come on, man. That is bad. That is third string work right there. That's third string work right there, man. So, it is what it is. Mike got Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold started out the season pretty good, but then he started seeing them same ghosts he saw in New York. You get benched for Cam Newton at this point of his career. You got to be at the bottom of the list. I think that, he had his opportunity. And if we were grading this by week 3, right before we played him, Sam Darnold would have been probably in the low 20s, high teens. Right. He was playing good football, but like he did in New York, it went boom and it blew up on him. So Sam Darnold, them ghosts, it is spooky over there.
Right. It went downhill fast for him. At 28, I got Justin Fields. At 28, you got Zach Wilson. To me, Justin Fields is still developing. I can see some upside there, but Justin Fields is one of those guys that thinks he could beat coverage with his arm and not with his brain. I just think he got to catch up with the arm and the brain aspect of it. I don't think Justin Fields is totally trash, but it's a number of quarterbacks that's better than Justin Fields right now. I don't think Justin Fields can really read the field that well right now. I think Justin Fields, I'm not going to say he relies on his athleticism as much as Jalen Hurts, but what's Justin Fields' strong suit out of what you've seen so far? He's not a prolific scrambler. You know what I mean? I don't think he's capable of getting you almost 800 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns like Hurts. And I don't think he's capable of, passing for like well over 4,000 passing yards yet. So right now he's below average to me. So that's why I got him at 28.
Yeah. And as I'm looking at this thing, right, I like to poo-poo on Daniel Jones. Again, he's been injured too, but I factor that in as a guy. Well, once you start to see it happen consistently,
right?
Well, then you start to have to factor that in. Like, if my car looks nice, but every couple months it breaks down, I'm gonna factor that in on how good my car is overall. Like, it got nice rims. Maybe I should have spent the money elsewhere. But Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, that whole group, I really don't care how you cut it. You take Daniel Jones from 30 and put him at 27. I think that they're all kind of jumbled up. But I put Zach Wilson and Justin Fields over them too because I seen they're on the word potential, right? The potential. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson, although he had many interceptions and he was doing some bad things. My brother's a Jet fan. He low-key tried to send me every little baby highlight just to prove that there is some upside there. And, he made some throws that you're like, wow. And then his next play, he made some yowzers. So, I'm going to give the potential, that word potential to them and keep them above Daniel Jones. Maybe I got a little bias in it, and I'm not afraid to say it. But that 30 to 27, they're all like coin flips to me.
Right. I mean, you got to put Daniel Jones. You can't say he has potential anymore. I mean, we've seen 3 years of the same thing from him, so I understand completely where you're coming from. This saying with me, man. Zach Wilson, 27. He's there because of potential. He's above Daniel Jones because of potential. If I'm going to be honest about Zach Wilson, I just don't think very high of him. From what they told me coming out of college, they said this dude they was comparing him to Patty. This ain't no Patrick Mahomes, man. This guy is more. I don't know. I just don't know. Like right now, honestly, you know what I mean. He reminds me a lot of Dwayne Haskins right now. You know what I mean. They got arm talent, but something else is missing there. Maybe it's the reading of the defense, or maybe it's just the processing of the game. So I'm not really that big on Zach Wilson. That's why he's there at 27. You had Fields at 27. 26, I got Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, I got a little higher than you got on your list because I think Sam Darnold has more experience than those guys. So the experience, and I think Sam Darnold is capable of putting 2 good games together, and then it falls off the tracks after that. I haven't seen Zach Wilson put 2 great ones together. Hell, for that matter, even Daniel Jones. Fields might have. But yeah, so I got Zach Wilson at 27. No, I'm sorry, I got Sam Darnold at 26, and you got Marcus Mariota at 26.
Yeah, my take on Marcus Mariota and is pretty much I always just wanted to see what if he's never injured. Now again, I was knocking Daniel Jones for being injured all the time. We haven't seen Marcus Mariota be a starter in a long time, but Jameis Winston was a guy who fell back as a starter for a year, and when he came back in, he was way more grounded. He didn't just throw the ball up and get interceptions left and right. So with that being said, I think that Marcus Mariota understands that if he ever wants to show the NFL that he's a capable backup or a fringe starter, it's now, and we'll see what he can do. But I was never high on him, but I was never low on him. I just thought that, he just always got hurt, but he was playing a couple good games before he got hurt. So
no, yeah. I like Marcus Mariota, actually, man. I think Marcus Mariota, if he's in a backup role this year somehow, some way, I think he could be, one of the best backups in the game. Marcus Mariota is actually a dual threat. He's one of those guys that can keep the ball and take off on you. That's why I got him at 25. I think Marcus Mariota can actually play this position better than quite a few guys that have started over him and have started, in the past. I think Marcus Mariota could take a job from a guy like Carson Wentz if it all falls off the track or something like that. So, Marcus Mariota is a guy that you can't sleep on. But if you're talking about the starters, you got to have him somewhere where we have him, man. It makes sense, man. So I got Mariota 25. You got Davis Mills 25.
Yeah, Davis Mills is a guy that I if I was a Texan fan, I'd be saying, hold up, wait a minute, let's see. I'm not ready to give up on him. And again, because I'm saying, hold up, wait a minute, let me see, I got to still see more. But he was slinging the rock a little bit to end the season and all that. And so I think that there's still potential in Davis Mills. And that's why I had to move him up a little bit to like 25-ish.
No, yeah. I agree with that. So I think I'm gonna have to reevaluate that one. But I might stick to my guns because I don't really be changing much. Because Davis Mills might end up being buns. You just got to see. You know what I mean? But
Texas ain't gonna really help him. I mean, it's hard to be good in that. It's hard to be good around
facts.
them.
And that's what shocked me about him though, because he showed some sparks being in that system. Now, Cooks is a very, very underrated wide receiver. He did have Cook to throw the ball to.
True that.
So you know what I mean? He had something. He didn't really have nothing, but I still got to see more. You're right. 24, we both got Trevor Lawrence, man. I got Trevor Lawrence there because Trevor Lawrence has the potential to be great. And now you got Doug Peterson. I think you're going to reach that potential faster than a lot of people thought. Trevor Lawrence got the size. Trevor Lawrence is versatile. He'll keep the ball and run. Trevor Lawrence can make almost every throw at this level so far from what I've seen. Trevor Lawrence just was getting his feet wet, in my opinion. I think Trevor Lawrence will probably end this season somewhere in the low 20s, somewhere like 19-ish. I think he'll move up a couple notches, and solidify himself as a legit starter in this league. So, I don't have anything bad to say about Trevor Lawrence. That's not why he's this low. He's this low because he really just got to show more. And it's guys that are climbing and ascending faster than him. So that's why Trevor Lawrence is 24 for me, but the potential is there.
Yeah. When I was doing this list, I was just thinking about a lot. And there's guys that we're going to see when the next 10 come out that, from 24 to about 20, you can do some different things there. But I agree
Mhm.
with the chat that I think that anybody on this list, if I'm looking at one name that's going to take the leap next year, Trevor Lawrence right there. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has the opportunity. He got Doug Peterson, a former quarterback. I think they're trying to put weapons around him. And again, I seen some elite throws from Lawrence, but just the consistency wasn't there. And again, he's with one of them franchises that really sometimes they ruin you, right? Again, right now, Trevor Lawrence is a better thrower of the football than Jalen Hurts. That's facts. But even though throwing the football is a big thing for a quarterback, it's not the end of. I mean, there's other things. Quarterback is the playmaker of the offense, is the point guard, and everybody hates the word game manager. There were Super Bowls won with game managing type quarterbacks. The biggest throw ain't always the best. It's the smartest throw. It's the throw. It's the clutch throw. It's the chain moving play. However you can
Mhm.
get it done. So Trevor Lawrence to me is a guy that I hated put at 24. I could have seen him maybe at 19, 20. But I'm gonna stick with it. But he definitely has the best chance to go sliding down
Very, very
in a good
well
way.
put, man. Very, very well put. Because Doug is gonna, now your head coach is a quarterback. Your head coach is responsible for the 2017 success of Carson Wentz, putting him in those great positions. Your head coach is responsible for putting Nick Foles in great positions. Even Jalen Hurts to a degree, because nobody expected Jalen Hurts to win that game against the Saints, who were his debut, who were one of the best ranked, defenses in the game. So you got a coach now, and that makes all the difference for Trevor Lawrence. So I agree, he's one of the ones that could definitely on his bottom 10, could definitely see his way out of the bottom 10 next season if we decide to do this again. 24, man, I got Tua, and you got Tua. I'm sorry, at 23 apiece, we both got Tua. I got Tua at 23. Tua is also capable of making a leap. If it was a guy that would have to be second that we would think could make a leap, I think it would be Tua. Um, Tua finished the season real strong, man. What like on a 9-game winning streak, I believe, over there in Miami. So Tua could put some wins together. Tua could play within the system. Tua is, in essence, not the biggest thrower of the football, but Tua is getting smarter. The more game time that he logs, you could kind of see him getting smarter. So, I think 23 is fair for Tua. You're climbing into the top 20. Now you got Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? It's your second year in this offense. So I expect Tua to be much better this season. You know what I mean? So 23 is fair for Tua. Tua got some upside. Whether I don't like Tua, I'm not a Tua fan because everybody wants to crap on Jalen Hurts over Tua. But if we keeping it 100 about Tua, Tua's in a good position.
Yeah, he definitely got the weapons. I think Tua and Hurts are at the same position, at the same spot when it's like, this is the let's wait and see. We got
Mhm.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith for Hurts. They went out and got Tyreek Hill and drafted Jalen Waddle for Tua. My whole only thing about Tua is that hip injury that will one time, career threatening. I think that is part of the reason. I thought he should have redshirted his first year to begin with. And I just don't know if that will ever be fine for him. So I'm still nervous about that injury. It was a big injury. The hip is very important on anything you're doing athletically. And so, they say it was a clean, good surgery and all that, but at one time he was able to throw the deep ball better, and we've seen the deep ball look like it struggles in the NFL compared to when he was in Alabama before. So it's kind of hard. I definitely, when looking at this list and being on Memorial Day weekend, I definitely wasn't in the lab as much as I wanted to be. But this is why this is the rough draft. We're gonna come away with our final thing. But
Right.
two was one of them guys with Jalen Hurts. When I first read the top 40 list, I said I was, the 25th for Jalen Hurts wasn't the real thing that made me mad. It was that Daniel Jones was in front of him. But I always said that between 17 and 22, I can hear and agree for different arguments is where I would have put Jalen Hurts and find out on the next episode where Jalen Hurts is.
Right.
But I always said 17 to 22, I wouldn't have been mad because I know he got, Tua and Jalen Hurts both got to work on different things because Tua was still a little bit more accurate when it comes to the short throws. But the consistency, I think they're both fighting for the same type of respect.
Yeah, you know what? I agree, man. So wait and see for Tua, wait and see for Jalen Hurts, but see we shall this upcoming season because they both got the weapons to do it. Shout out my guy Michael Felder with the $10 super chat. Then he sent another $10 super chat. The exact same
He
one.
probably dropped one on both channels.
Oh,
That guy
okay.
show love for real, for real.
Now he do definitely big shout out to Michael Felder, man. My guy LT in the building too. He said, "All rise, LT in the building. Go Bird." Shout out LT. What's up, LT? So yeah, man. So there you have it, man. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to give side A and side B of the story for each portion of the list, and then we're going to hit y'all with a list that we both agree on, one that makes sense after giving it further thought. But one thing I can assure you. You know what I mean? The list will be better than any list you've seen. You know what I mean? We're going to go ahead, Mike.
No, because we're going to have our arguments live and behind the scenes, and then we're going to come out, it's going to be a one person's list. It's not going to be still me and OB. It's going to be a final GOAT talk list.
Right.
And that's going to be up to the other person to, finagle it all and convince and give us, the supporting reasons why we have them there. And you're like, you know what, that makes sense. So it's going to be a collaborative effort. And that's why I like it better because, one-sided, a little bit of bias can always get into somebody. And sometimes once you hear the version of the other story, you're like, yeah, low key, I might have been letting something sleep. I've been sleeping on it for a different reason. And so it's good to have 2 or 3 people do this because I think it draws a better and more accurate conclusion when it's all done.
Yeah. I totally agree with that, man. You got anything else coming up this weekend?
I don't know. We're going to see these OTAs, and that's about it.
Right, facts, OTAs, and then so the next GOAT Talk will definitely be on Mike's channel. 432 people in the building. Shout out to y'all for joining us on Memorial Day for sure, man. We really appreciate y'all. The next GOAT Talk is going to be on Mike's channel.
They're on both channels. I'll just be hosting this time.
Mike will be hosting, doing all the reading of the super chats, and yeah, man, we're going to do our next 10, man. I'll let you know right now that Jalen Hurts should be in the next 10. I mean, obviously, he got to be in the next 10. We're just going to see where on Mike's list and where on my list. The next 10 is where it gets spooky, man, because you got some really good quarterbacks that's coming up. You just don't want to miss this, man. Listen, no bias at all. We're going to do this real accurate and, in the best way we can, man. So like I said, man, shout out to y'all for joining, man. Stay tuned for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3. Stay tuned for me and Mike all week. OTAs coverage, everything Philadelphia Eagles. You know where to find us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and put them leftovers up, man. Oh, wait. I got to let you know before I go. I'm going to let you know. Yeah, I'm going to let you know. This video was brought to you by Manscaped, man. Big Manscaped in the building. Father's Day is coming up. Use code Brunson, save 20% off, get the free shipping. And the free shipping I fought for that for y'all, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all night, man. Thank y'all for tapping in the GOAT Talk. Thank you.